The Wellington Phoenix have slipped to yet another defeat at home, continuing what has been a very disappointing season for them at home so far this season. They suffered a 1-0 loss to Melbourne City, who are currently 5th on the table, thanks to an early second-half goal from winger Marco Tilio, who's on loan from Scottish giants Celtic. This leaves the Wellington Phoenix in 11th on the table, 3rd from the bottom, and a distant 11 points off 6th place, but of course have a game in hand. I'm Nick from Nickn'detail, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Wellington Phoenix Melbourne City game, which took place in Wellington last Friday night. So, let's get into it. That is right, the Wellington Phoenix continued their very disappointing season, and it very much continued on last Friday night. They suffered a narrow 1-0 defeat to Melbourne City thanks to an early second-half goal from winger Marco Tilio, and this leaves the Phoenix a further 11 points back from the top 6, with only around 8 rounds to play, so not much time for the Phoenix to actually get points back in to the top 6, and looks very highly unlikely that they're even going to get the top 6. But yes, the early second-half goal ensured Melbourne City's win, and what was a dominant performance from the visitors, the Phoenix not really getting a sniff in on their goal, despite a few chances where they probably should have buried a few goals. But let's get into my thoughts on this game. Honestly, this was a very dominant performance from Melbourne City. They came to Wellington and put on an absolute performance. They could have actually had about 3 or 4 goals. They were absolutely dominating the Phoenix. In fact, that whole first half was just like watching Melbourne City take on like a under-15s team. It just was so dominant. There was no sort of resistance from the Phoenix. It was just unlucky for Melbourne City not to score goals. And like I said, they should have had a few goals, especially in that first half where they were constantly, minute after minute, just creating chances. And very much the Phoenix were just left to very much pick up the pieces. There was just no sort of defending going on whatsoever. And it was just like they were just getting absolutely slaughtered every minute. And there was no sense of drive from the Phoenix again. And this has been a really big problem for them this season. There's just no drive to want to get out of their own half. And very much their own playing out from the back just continues week in, week out to screw them over. They constantly get screwed over by the press. I've said it in many videos. It happened again on this Friday night game. They constantly just got pressed. They didn't like it. They bombed. They just kept clearing the ball away, thinking that was going to clear all of the world's problems, but that actually didn't happen. And unfortunately, it was just yet another dismal performance from the Phoenix. But the second half, they actually turned out pretty well. They actually had a few good chances there and looked like a different side coming out of the sheds at half time. But Melbourne City with a lovely goal, and they showed it all game very much. They were absolutely cleaning the Phoenix out on the wing and with their balls into the area, and it was a superb finish from Marco Tilio, who of course, as I said earlier, is on loan from Scottish giants Celtic, and very much proving the player he can be when he's not injured, but also when he's given regular game time, which of course he's starting to pick up now, having missed most of the season so far through injury, which is disappointing for the winger, who is very much a talented player. But yes, despite that, the Phoenix, of course, will yet left with another disappointing defeat, and their home record continues to not look so flash, and of course, still a very distant way from the top 6, with now it looking like it's going to be further stretched away, their chances of making that top 6, and therefore playing in an elimination final. But yeah, my thoughts on the game, yeah, a disappointing performance for the Phoenix, but potential, if they get those chances right, and they show a bit more drive going forward, that they can hurt teams, even those higher up on the table. So, what went wrong for the Phoenix? Well, I've said it already a few times and what my thoughts on the game were. And that is very much their defending. Their defending, particularly on the wings, in the middle, was completely dreadful. It's like they just weren't even existent. They kept getting caught out every time Melbourne City pressed, and this is what all teams have done to the Phoenix this season. As soon as they apply a little bit of pressure on their backline, who absolutely adore playing out from the back, they just don't like it. They just get absolutely petrified and end up clearing the ball away, thinking, as I said, that's going to be that. But they constantly just keep getting pressured, and unfortunately they fall victim to that pressure, and that's honestly what went wrong for the Phoenix. That goal was very much one where they just got absolutely cleaned out from a pass out the back, and then the other side of the wing was wide open and a lovely taken goal, as I said, from Marco Tilio, but no one was there. And that's honestly the Phoenix's problem this season so far. It's just been very much they're just not able to defend, particularly in their middle half, but also very much in their own box as well. It's just completely left wide open for wingers to come through like Marco Tilio and just absolutely bang in those kind of shots, which those players can very much take. They're paid the money to do it. Of course, those particularly as well, playing at higher end clubs like Tilio at Celtic, you expect those guys to be burying those kind of shots, and he certainly did that fantastically as well. But that has been the Phoenix's problem. They're just not able to defend those kind of through balls and those kind of balls over the top. And it's honestly just been very much the reason why they've been conceding a lot of goals this season compared to last season, where they were pretty much the best defence in the league. But as I said, there is promise for the Phoenix that they did show a bit more courage in the second half, but yes, their defending 100% needs lots of work. That defending has been absolutely garbage all season. You can say it started off not too bad this season, but very much as the season has progressed, it's just not looked better. And yeah, it's very much once again come back to haunt the Phoenix, particularly on their home ground, where of course I said they've got a very shocking record there. And yeah, disappointing for fans turning out to see that, because that is not what you want to see. The team that did so well last season do this season, but very much once again it is a big problem for the Phoenix, and one that needs to be sorted, especially if they need to win their last 7 of 9 games. Will of course now be 6 of their last 8 games. Basically, you can't afford to drop any more games, because otherwise you're a top 6, you can kiss that goodbye. That's looking like it's going to happen at the moment. But yes, defending is the key message for the Phoenix. They need to get that sorted if they even want to get remotely close to being in that top 6 and playing an elimination final very soon. So what's next for the Wellington Phoenix? Well, it doesn't get easier for them. They are on the road to Melbourne this Saturday night to take on Western United. Western United have been in great form at the moment. In fact, Western United sits second on the table at the moment, because their form has been so good that they've just been able to get into that top 2 now. And judging by the way the Phoenix have been playing, I expect Western United to absolutely wipe the floor off them at home. And yeah, like I said, not an easier game for the Phoenix as well, going to a side that, considering how awful they were last season, they've actually been very good this season. You've got to credit to them that they've been able to come back from a disappointing last season to really put, you know, us and a stamp on the authority of this league, that they can very much be challenging for those titles. They won the A-League, of course, a few seasons ago. But yes, that's Phoenix's next trip is to Melbourne Saturday night to take on Western United. Again, that will be very hard for them, and from my opinion, I don't see them getting a result out of it, particularly if they play like they did in Wellington last Friday night. So that's going to be it for me. Another disappointing performance from the Phoenix. As I said, like last video as well, it just looks like they've really just given up on even making the top 6. I know their ambitions are to make the top 6. They've come out saying, yeah, we want the top 6. We believe we can do it. But if you're playing like that, it looks like you really don't care. And this is even despite you've actually probably got a better squad this season than you had last season. I mean, last season you only promoted academy players and signed a couple of free agents out of Aussie. This season you've actually gone overseas and bought players, and you haven't even done anything with them. And there's a lot of hype of them coming in. So it's disappointing for the Phoenix. They need to get their act together, particularly if they want that top 6. There's only a few rounds left in this regular season, so they've not really got much time to scratch their heads and think, what can we do? Results need to happen now, and it's better to happen now, and you never know what can happen out of that. But that's going to be it for me. Until next time, I'll see you later.